here. Welcome to the Hacienda's Kitchen again. Today we're going to make something really good. Classic Southern style creamy coleslaw. Now a lot of you people already know how to make it, but a lot of you people don't and have asked me about it when we've talked on emails and things and PMs. So I decided I'm going to make some Southern style creamy coleslaw. I've got this half a Napa cabbage pretty much left over from the kimchi I made that I posted the other day. So what better way to use it is we got some ground white pepper, some mayonnaise, some celery. Now we're just going to use the little leaf parts of the celery, not celery proper. We got a sweet onion. You can use Vidalia if you got it. This is not a Vidalia, but it is a sweet onion. Some carrots, radish, buttermilk, and kosher salt. Now I'm going to tell you the secrets of why you need some of these ingredients and why they are the trick and special techniques for true Southern creamy coleslaw. Before we go any further though, I need to talk a little bit about mayonnaise. True Southern creamy coleslaw does not use Hellmann's, Kraft, or any Dream Whip, Miracle Whip, anything. True Southern creamy style coleslaw utilizes the one and only Duke's mayonnaise. It's from the Duke family, outfit out of Raleigh or Winston-Salem, North Carolina. You can recognize it by the yellow label, and it's a secret recipe. And it's not really that secret because it's been a Southern staple for God knows how long. You can't buy it anywhere other than the South unless you order it online or through the mail, which I do, or when the kids come to visit, they bring a couple jars with them. The secret to Duke's mayonnaise, it is not cloyingly sweet like regular other mayonnaise is, because they do not add sugar to the recipe. Duke's mayonnaise is made with apple cider vinegar, and it has a delicious subtle tang to it that is much closer to old-fashioned homemade mayonnaise in which you use lemon juice in it. Now, Southern style coleslaw is sweet. It does have a hit of sweetness in it. Now, it is not sickeningly, cloyingly sweet. That's why they add sugar to it after you use the Duke's mayonnaise. Now, I don't have any sugar laying out here because I'm using Hellmann's, and Hellmann's mayonnaise is sweet. I don't have Duke's, and I wish I did. We ate it all up from when the kids came, and I don't have time to order some more. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this Hellmann's, and then I'm going to taste it at the end, and then I'm going to correct it for the sugar and add more if necessary. True Southern coleslaw is subtle in its flavors. It's a perfect complement to pulled pork barbecue sandwiches, fried chicken, and it's not overpowering. It's not sweet, it's not tangy, it's not bitter. It's got everything mixed together in just the right amounts that if you have eaten enough coleslaws, you know that it is a work of magic. So let's get on with it and join me here in a minute. Okay, here we go. I prepped all the vegetables. What we have here starting up, about 5 cups of Napa cabbage, finely chopped. Now you can either shred cabbage or chop it. It doesn't matter. I prefer mine chopped. That's just the way I grew up. It's chopped. Now shredded cabbage is just fine in the South too, but just for you barbecue fans out there, the chopped cabbage, or coleslaw rather, sits a lot nicer in your pulled pork barbecue sandwich and doesn't fall out and cause more mess than you have to. So since I love barbecue, I like it in pulled pork sandwiches, I tend to chop mine. Now as you can see, I used half the leftover Napa cabbage, so I'll make something else with the cabbage. Radish. We've got about 6 small medium radishes chopped again. You do not want your creamy Southern coleslaw to be fiery hot. If you guys who grow your own radishes get the hot ones, you want the sweet ones. If you've got the hot ones that bring tears to your eyes, reduce them accordingly. They add a little bit of flavor and some color. I got 1 medium carrot, again finely chopped. It adds color and a little bit of flavor. Now what I have here is about 2 or 3 tablespoons of the green leafy leaves from the celery. This is purely optional, okay? You can add a teaspoon or 2 of celery seed, not celery salt, celery seed. But I didn't have any, but I did have a whole bunch of brand new celery, so I used the leaves too. And I kind of like the taste. Some people don't, so that is definitely an optional. I have half that white sweet onion. Don't use a lot of onion. The lady who I learned how to make coleslaw from always told me the right coleslaw, you know there's onion in there, but you just can't find it. So you shred it or you dice it as tiny as possible, and I probably should have stuck it in the Cuisinart with everything else, but I didn't want to mess with having to clean it and wash it, so I did everything by hand. Alright, finally got the area cleaned up here. Everything nice, washed and drained. And we'll begin the assembly of the coleslaw. Coleslaw, as we know it here in the United States, cold, comes from the Danish word Coleslaw. And, you know, they're not the only people who made coleslaw. But, for instance, the Germans have a wonderful hot coleslaw, which is a whole different, another animal, and absolutely delicious. But anyway, talk about Napa cabbage. The southern coleslaw can be made from any kind of cabbage. Usually in the south, what's grown are the round, green, traditionally shaped heads that we think of cabbage. But you can make it out of a purple cabbage, you can make it out of Napa cabbage, you can make it out of a combination of any cabbages. One of the signatures of good southern cooking is you use what's available, what's fresh. And I've made it with all three kinds before. I've seen it made. They're all delicious because the ingredients and the method is what's going to determine whether it's going to be the southern creamy coleslaw. So I got 5 cups of cabbage, and this is an 8-ounce jar, which is a cup. So I'm going to start with about half to 3/4 of a jar. Okay. Now we're going to correct this as we go along. But for these amounts that I'm making, this is what we're going to be using. Okay, then we're going to add the onion in there, and the carrot, and the celery, greenery, and the radish. Okay. Now we're going to mix it. Now this stuff isn't going to mix very well right now, so what you want to do is really mash it. Okay, just mash it down, and this is an important step because Southerners and Southern ladies and cooks pride themselves on their coleslaw, and when you take a bite of coleslaw, you don't want to take a bite of a wad of mayonnaise. Okay, so make sure it's incorporated very well, and once I get that done, join me here in a minute. Okay, I ended up adding a little bit more of the mayo. Essentially I use about 4/5 of the jar. You want it about this consistency. You don't want it goopy, but you certainly want every little piece covered with it. One thing about mayo, please don't use Miracle Whip. In the South, Miracle Whip is for sandwiches, chicken salad, ham salad, not for coleslaw. Okay. True Southern coleslaw has a little bit of tang in it. Has that tang with a little underlying level of sweetness. It's a very subtle salad that is truly, when you have good one, amazing to behold. That sickeningly sweet stuff you buy pre-made at the grocery store, that's just nasty. And if you go to restaurants and you try their coleslaw and it's like candy, you know, coleslaw is not supposed to overpower food. It's supposed to, Southern coleslaw is supposed to complement it. If it's overly sweet, they're throwing more sugar in there to mask it because it's starting to turn. Okay, that's a standard crappy restaurant trick. So that's one thing that should stand out. If it tastes like candy and it's really sweet, it's probably starting to go bad, and they just dump more sugar in it. Southern coleslaw has pepper in it. Now here's another trick I learned. Everybody likes to have the prettiest coleslaw. Nothing wrong with putting ground black pepper in it, but one trick I learned is use ground white pepper. It doesn't show up. It doesn't look dirty. So when you have these coleslaws all being taken to the church barbecue and luncheon, and they're full of black specks, you know, people know it's pepper, but, you know, ego being what it is, the person who brings theirs in that doesn't have black specks but's got that pepper flavor, ooh. Okay, so you want about a half a teaspoon of ground white pepper, and we will continue to mix that in a minute because we're going in with the salt. And you can use regular iodized table salt, it doesn't matter, you do not have to use kosher salt. I'm going to put in a generous teaspoon and a half. Okay, now I'm going to mix this up real well, and once that's done, join me back here in a moment. I mixed this up, I have tasted it. I'm going to correct it for flavor, just the right amount of black pepper, or excuse me, ground white pepper. I'm going to add a generous teaspoon of sugar. Okay, that mayonnaise wasn't as sweet as I recall it, so we're going to add that 1 teaspoon of sugar for now, and let me incorporate that. Now the signature secret to true creamy southern coleslaw, you want to know why it's all nice and creamy and not dry like this, is because they add buttermilk. Okay, you can add buttermilk or regular straight milk. Buttermilk adds a nice layer of tang, and remember how I told you that the true deliciousness of southern style coleslaw is the subtlety and layers of flavor? Well, it's because you use buttermilk. Now we're going to want to add about half a cup, maybe 3/4. Mix it up, and we're going to want to judge this. You don't want this stuff swimming in it, okay? And we're going to have to refrigerate this for a while, and with the addition of the salt and the sugars, the cabbage is going to release some moisture, which is fine, but again, we don't want soup. So you can see how it is. It's starting to get a little creamy. I'm going to add just a little bit more. I probably already added, yeah, 3/4 cup. Let me add another half cup here. And yeah, there you go. This is perfect. Now, what we're going to do is, you want to pat it down, mash it down like so, get everything nice, so they can, all the ingredients dance happy. And then we're going to cover it with plastic wrap. Don't want to use tin foil. Okay, I got this whole thing of food service film. We're going to cover it tightly with plastic wrap, and then it's going in the fridge for at least an hour because it's got to chill down. Then once it's chilled down, the flavors are married. You can tell what it's going to need. You correct it at that point, and then it's ready to serve. Ideally, it's better the next day. But there you go, Southern Creamy Coleslaw. Join me back in an hour or so, and we'll finish this up. Okay, here we go. It's been an hour and a half. Let's get the stuff out of the fridge. Coleslaw. Let's give it a try. Oh, it's looking so good. See, it's got some creaminess to it. It's not swimming. It's good stuff, and it's nicely chilled. So let's put some in here. It's got some pretty colors. I know it's got some good flavor. Let's give it a try. Got some tang. Got some sweet. Got that touch of sweet onion in the background. Can't see it. That's good stuff there. Oh yeah. And you know what? This is going to be better tomorrow. It always is. I'll get juicier. Sweetness seems to increase a little bit. Man, that is so good. I need to make some pulled pork barbecue now, or some fried chicken. That's some good eating, people. Nothing better. You guys are great. Good to see you again. Take care.